We're glad you're here with us. We have a beautiful sunny day out there. And it's time to sing, so stand on up and join us on an Allendale original called The Fountain of Joy.
Sunday as being the first day of the week, do we? It is on the calendar. So we all get to start our day off of this new week through the fellowship with each other, through a meaningful message, and through the beauty of the music that we get to enjoy here every Sunday. So welcome. We're going to start this morning with a call to service. Lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from one great universal principle, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as practitioner Tony Sparks lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. And won't you join me now in this affirmative prayer? And as I speak my word for myself, I'm speaking it for each one of you today. I recognize that there is only one presence, one power, one essence of love, one, just God. And as I anchor these words of prayer into that idea that everything is one, we are all one, I am one with it, the creator of everything. So I'm mindful in this moment, recognizing that this one infinite power is that thing itself that is within me. It's that thing that brings me strength. It's that thing that informs me. It's that thing that bubbles up the love. It's that thing that surrounds and protects me. It's that thing that is always, always with us. It is for us. Life is for us. And so today is a celebration of that idea. I anchor myself in that, recognizing that the universe is in favor of me, of you, of life itself. And it's so rich and it's so beautiful, and I give such great thanks for this idea. Knowing who that form is, who that source is, who that force is in my life, in all of our lives. And with a heart filled with so much gratitude for this truth, I just allow it to lead freely and to move into an infinite law that so loves us and so provides for us because it always says yes. And together, let's anchor it by saying, and so it is. And now I'd like to invite Reverend Arpad to come up with our declaration of service and our affirmation for today.
Thank you, Reverend Carla. I want to read a declaration of principles. And if you want to get a deeper experience, just close your eyes and listen to the words. Listen to what you are declaring this morning. I believe in God, one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates upon the law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now. I rejoice in it. And so it is. Thank you for doing that. And our affirmation this morning is, today, I choose to walk on the high road with Spirit as my companion and friend. I choose to live in the integrity of my highest values. And so it is. And then it's someone else's turn.
Yes. Please welcome Wade Wooldridge and his backup singers, Allendale.
Well, if you were here specifically because Harold Payne was supposed to be singing for you this morning, I'm sorry that he's got laryngitis, but you'll have to deal with just us. We can be a pain.
Hey, Let's say we're living absolutely right when we can have a substitute musician that is so fantastic and sings so well. I'm so grateful that we have the kind of talent and generosity as we have here, because we really do. My message this morning is entitled Gold in the Shadows. Gold in the Shadows. And of course, when you look up gold in the shadows on the internet, you find the shadow. And you find gold in the shadows is actually from Carl Jung. It is the whole idea that what we find when we integrate ourselves so that we're not fragmented beings, but we have learned to love every particle of ourselves, every part. The parts that we love and the parts that we try to hide, when we say, oh, but that's also me. When we say, that is me too, then, and we integrate, there's gold there. We're discovering something about ourselves. And also, I don't think Jung pointed this out, but any writer that is really understands human character, like Shakespeare. Shakespeare crafted the greatest characters because they had internal conflict. So Polonius' advice to Laertes, and this above all, to thy own self be true. Hamlet's difficulty with his mother marrying his uncle. And how could this be okay? That inner conflict. And so what finding gold in the shadows means, usually, it means coming to peace, coming to accept that we are all the things we want to be, and we're all those things that we notice and blame and criticize in others too. They're actually there to awaken us to our bigness, our greatness, our magnificence. Absolutely every single thing that you're aware of is an aspect of yourself. Everything I'm aware of is an aspect of myself. Now, the science of mind says, put your attention on what you do want. Change your mind. Build a life filled with the ideas of abundance and joy and prosperity and wholeness, and let those things then manifest in your life. And absolutely, I totally agree. I totally agree. And it is, so what happens is our secret fears, our secret beliefs come up. They come up and they slap us across the face sometimes. And one of the teachers I really loved, her name was Helen Street. She was a big woman. She said, if you can't hide it, paint it red. So I was going to wear red, but instead I wore something that will not get rid of its static cling, because I have a wool cape that I insist on wearing. Okay, I've got static cling, and be proud. I want to tell you this, and I don't want to tell you because it's one of my secrets. One of my greatest fears is that I will end up like my father, who was my hero, with Alzheimer's. It's a huge fear. And so anytime I have difficulty retrieving a word or going down a mental pathway, that fear slaps me in the face. And I can try to deny it, and I do deny it. But that isn't the answer. The answer is to say, yes. And if that were to come about, what would be the worst thing that could happen?
You'll be at peace.
I wouldn't know what was happening. I could hide my own Easter eggs. There could be all sorts of good things, and we joke about it, and at least breathing about it. So here's what happened. Tuesday night, I had my 9th of 10 classes. This week is our last class, and it was a very difficult class for me because I kept losing my words. I would have how many know what a malaprop is? Malapropism.
Yes.
Okay. So malapropisms are when you substitute a similar word for the word you were meaning to say. It's a device used in writing that's really clever if you've done it on purpose. It's not so clever if you just mistakenly choose the wrong words, which I was doing all over the heavenly place on Tuesday night. I went home and I was just, okay, this is not acceptable. I need something to relax my brain. And I start thinking, well, how are we going to grow? How are we, if I don't even have that consciousness of knowing who I am? And I woke up Wednesday morning and I got an email from an old friend who used to attend our center, and many of you know her. Her name's Vidette Vanderweed, and she is living the life of her dreams. She's living now in Austin, Texas, and she is a hypnotherapist and a life coach, and she is still beautiful and vivacious and gorgeous, all the things she was when she was here. But she wrote me this, and it was, "Good morning, Dr. Heather. It's been a while, but I had to reach out to you after something that happened last night. I wanted you to know. I've been pretty active with the Unity Church here in Austin since moving. Last night, I hosted another night of our spirit groups in our house. It's our spring book club. It's probably like our friendship circles. One of the discussion questions was someone who has had a deep impact on your life. Without half a second of delay, you popped into my head. Others shared their parents, mostly, but not me. I don't take away from their experience, only highlighting the fact that you were my idea over my parents, school teachers, etc. I want you to know what a profound effect you have had on my life. I hear your name leave my mouth often in these kinds of discussions, and last night I got the idea that I wanted to share this with you. No one ever really knows how they affect others' lives. You probably know more than others, being that you are a spiritual leader. But for me personally, I cannot ever tell you how much you have affected my life. You helped me find the courage, grit, faith, brilliance, etc. in a time when all of that was so buried. I am now living the life of my dreams, the life that I so dreamed way back then, and none of it would have unfolded in my life without your leadership and love. Thank you, lady. I love you deeply, and I know that all is well with you." Yay. Well, all was well, but yes. It was exactly what I needed. I needed to remind myself that I am making a difference, that my life counts, my ministry counts, and I wanted you to hear it too, because as we look at all the empty chairs, we might be wondering, what are we doing here? But this is what we're doing here. We're changing people's lives by awakening them to their own spiritual magnificence, to remind them, to remind everybody that you can make a difference. And just your consciousness, just your willingness to be who you are, changes lives. You're making that difference right now. She wrote this about me because I was her teacher and her minister. But I'm saying we all are making a difference. We make a difference by providing wonderful music. We make a difference by greeting people and seeing the beauty, the wholeness, the love in those people that are coming into our center. We make a difference by the wonderful, wonderful hospitality that we share, and by supporting our teens the way that we do. We make a difference. Every one of us. Could we make a bigger difference by being a greater light? You betcha. Yes, we could. Yes, we could, and yes, we can, and yes, we will. So at our board meeting, we made a few decisions. And I want to share some of them with you because they're big. Our biggest decision is that, first of all, to let you know, those of you who are members know from our annual meeting that we were not sure whether Faith Strong's personal pledge would continue or not. She had told us that it would. We now know that yes, it will continue, but for 5 years. Very grateful, very grateful. So that spurred us on to realize that we have got to do something. We've got to make sure we're mortgage-free by the time that gift is complete. So it gives us 5 years to pay off our mortgage. Are you with me? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And how do we do it? Please invite friends next week, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after. Let's fill this place up. There is something wonderful going on here. Let's not keep it a secret anymore. It's a wonderful thing to be recognized for the wholeness that we are, to see what we can do. You know, we hear Marianne Williamson's name a lot these days because she's running for president, but I was reminded, she is? No, I just made that up. No. I wanted to remind you of something she wrote in 1992. It was in her book, A Return to Love. And this is what she said, because if we're going to find the gold in the shadows, we might also find this is true. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will feel insecure, will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We're born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us. It's in every one. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Yesterday afternoon, I attended the the Southern California region Toastmasters finals. And I was there, Dave Friedman was speaking, and there were other wonderful speakers. Every single speaker had something vital to say. And they did tabletop big speakers first. The tabletop bigs, those people do not know what they're going to talk, what they're going to be given, and they have to rise up into their own magnificence. And the young woman who won that one was a 28-year-old who the question was, if you could change one moment in your life, what would it be and why? If you could change one moment in your life, what would it be and why? And she seemed very poised, and she said, I would change, the one moment I would change would be when I was bat mitzvahed, when I was honored as becoming a woman in my faith. I had to sing a song in a foreign language to a group of people I didn't know, and I was so scared. I was bleeding and bleeding sweat, and I was drenched with sweat. And I was so nervous that my voice wasn't strong. So if I could go back, knowing what I know now, that in every group, the Toastmasters groups in particular, every group wants the speaker, the singer, the musician to succeed, to do well. She said, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have been nervous and I would have been able to give a better gift. I thought, wow, that was really quite an insight. Another woman said she wouldn't change a thing, even though she'd had issues, problems, made mistakes, but by changing just anything about her life, you'd change your whole life. And that was pretty powerful. Dave represented us really well. He spoke about thoughts, and thoughts become things. And he did a fabulous job. He actually came in third for all of Southern California. I was so proud of him to do that. The guy that came in first, his talk title was Not My Job, and it was a great talk about when you see something and you just let somebody else do it, like you see trash on the side of the road or wherever you are, and just walk right by it, because it's not your job. His talk was very good. He did actually win. Another one gave a talk about his daughter who wanted, he said to her, sweetie, what would you love to do when you grow up? She said, I want to fly. He said, oh, you mean you want to be a pilot? And no, I want to fly. 8 years old, I want to fly. And he thought, what do I do? I know if I tell her that that's impossible, I'll have dashed her hopes, I'll have dashed her dreams. She should be able to fly, but I don't know what to say. And the universe led him to something that was an experience of flying that she was able to do. And he said, the look on her face as she was doing that was pure bliss, pure joy. What she did want to do was fly, and she did fly. So, all of these things, finding this gold, we find it everywhere. If we just open. My friend Jim Lockhart yesterday posted on Facebook something, the last thing I'm going to read to you. And this is from Rainer Maria Rilke, who in his book, Letters to a Young Poet. And this is what he said: I beg you to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. Beautiful, beautiful. So, if we know that we all have a shadow, and we know there's gold in it, that's the what. Now, what to do with that? Well, back to Vedette's acknowledgement. Vedette was a person that sat in the front row when she was here at the center, always sat in the front row, always took notes. And she was a woman that went to class, like absolutely, she would not ever miss a class. She was a woman that was interested in anything that we put on. She was there doing whatever it is. She was there. She was a lifelong learner. Are you a lifelong learner?
Yes.
Are you willing to let go of what you think you know and open to a greater knowing?
Yes.
I thought so. I thought you would be. So I have a really great thing coming up, and it's a possibility. So Mary is going to play a little bit of bringing someone in to help me end this message, and that is Mary Morrissey. So Mary Manon Morrissey, up she comes, Mary. Lights down, video up. She has been.
Author of 2 best-selling books, no less than Greatness and Building Your Field of Dreams, which became a PBS special. I'm also the creator of the Prosperity Plus programs. I created Prosperity Plus so that we could gather together and do an experiment, and a 7-week experiment in living a life that's harmonious with the invisible laws that govern the visible results we call our own. These are ancient laws. They're invisible to our 5 senses, and yet they govern all the results that we call our own. Now, people all throughout millennia have studied how to experience greater freedom, greater flow. 5,000 years from Hinduism down through all of the different religious trainings and teachings, New Thought itself, science, psychology, discovering how can we live a life that we truly love living while we're living it. There are ways that we can partner with the infinite side of our nature. Prosperity Plus 3 is a dynamic tithing experiment with your life through proven, reliable, repeatable systems of transformation that actually engage the power in you through simple, highly effective tools each week that open your life to a greater experience of what I call full spectrum wealth. Where you don't just have wealth in one area and bankruptcy in another, where you're wealthy in money and have bankruptcy in relationships, or you're wealthy perhaps in health but not in relationships. You want a full spectrum wealth, a wealth that opens you up to a life you truly love living. And here, Prosperity Plus 3 is where you're going to engage in this experiment with these ancient laws through a simple, easy to practice way of being. Over the course of 7 weeks, you'll engage with other members of your community. You'll have a weekly class. There'll be a facilitator or one of your ministers who will lead you through it. It's actually a very fun experiment in living. And so this is your invitation to actually do an experiment, to actually have these next 7 weeks after the class begins become one of the most transformative eras of your life, and it'll be with you forever. You learn how to live from a vision, not just have a vision or have a dream, but actually the science of building that dream right into your results, how you harness and work with these invisible laws. You're going to study transformational material each week. It's very engaging, it's actually fun. And week by week, you'll be given simple but highly effective tools that you can employ that week. So Prosperity Plus members report all kinds of increases in their life, increases in their income, surprise support coming their way, new businesses, books get written, relationships get found, all kinds of surprise support. I highly encourage you to give yourself the gift of what your center or your church is offering you. Prosperity Plus 3 is a 7-week experiment in abundant living, and it includes all the support materials that come with the class. But most of all, just for a moment here, 7 weeks are going to come and go. But if you invest a little bit of time each week for 7 weeks, you'll look back on this being one of the best investments you've ever made in your growth, in your dreams, in your life. There is a pattern through which success occurs. It operates in harmony with the invisible laws that govern our results. And if you just keep breathing, you are going to have results. Not maybe, absolutely. But what will those results be? They'll occur either by default, the same pattern governing our lives, or they'll occur by design. And in Prosperity Plus 3, you're going to learn how to design your inner life with an outer life that you absolutely love living. Prosperity Plus 3 is created for the person who really wants to go deeper spiritually and then have a life that has greater, freer, fuller expression by means of the relationship with the infinite side of your nature. And I invite you to give yourself this gift and say yes to your community who is offering Prosperity Plus 3, an experiment in greater living.
We'll be beginning that class on the 16th of April at 6:30. And if not that one, the next class, make a pact with yourself. Make a compact with yourself, I just about said. Make a pact with yourself, a big one, a pact with yourself to be a perpetual student, to learn everything you can about this science of mind, to live fully, if not this class, another class. Come with that beginner's mind and let yourself be fed. And so it is. now I'm going to pray, and for those, some of you don't know, Reverend Judy's grandson was in a motorcycle crash. He is racer, and he is in serious condition. He's not in critical condition, but he's still, so I'm going to include him first of all in the prayer. His name is Gage, and then all of us. So let's just center in the divine. And in this centering, what I know is that that thing that is life is all around me, above me, below me, with me, through me, as me, and for me. And I know what I know for myself, I know for each and every other person. And I begin first and foremost with knowing the well-being of Gage Shearer, Reverend Judy's grandson, for that whole family, for his mother Carrie, his father Brian, for Reverend Judy, for June, everyone in that family, that each one of them will see the truth of this one, as I am seeing right now, that he is healed, whole, healthy, complete, that the body temple in which he resides is blessed, it is a blessing, it's responding to treatment, and the consciousness around it is shifting into safety, well-being, excitement and adventure coming in all sorts of positive and wonderful ways, so that this one lives his life fully, lives his life freely, doing what he loves to do. I know that this is already his, just as I know for each one of us and myself, that what I want wants me. And I get my bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits, and I allow that presence of God within me to show me what it is that I really must do, that I really must know, that I really must be. And standing in that place of magnificence, of power, of perfect well-being, perfect memory, perfect intellect. I know that the divine mind is my mind. I know that the divine love is my love. I know that the divine presence is my presence. I know that that presence allows the creativity to flow through me in magnificent ways, in new ways, in greater ways. These things and greater I shall do, promised by the Master Teacher Jesus. I accept it for myself and for each one of us. And with my heart filled with gratitude, and knowing that the word I've spoken is a word of power, I let it go, and please help me anchor it by saying with me, and so it is. And now once more, Wade Wooldridge and team.
All right.
We've got Team Vandale instead of Team Allendale here for the second song. No dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and the dreamer's just a vessel that must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you, never knowing what's in store, makes it each day a constant battle, just to stay between the shores. I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Too many times we step aside and let the water slip away, till what we put off till tomorrow is now become today. So don't you sit upon the shorelines and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance the tide. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. There's bound to be rough waters, and I know I'll take some falls, but with the good Lord as my captain, I will make it through them all. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Till the river runs dry.
Stay right there. Stay right there. But we will call up the stewards, and we're going to share our gifts, our tithes, our offerings. So just take a moment breathing into this gift. And even if you're not giving any money, you can give the gift of love, knowing that your presence is making a difference. And please say our prosperity affirmation together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply and symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply. You just keep getting better and better. That was exquisite. Wow, what harmonies. Was it? Wow. The harmonies are just gorgeous. We're blessed. We're so blessed. I'd like to acknowledge those of you who are in service today. If that's you, would you please stand so we can give you a lot of love. We're so grateful for all that you give, your time, your talent, and then at the the practitioners remain standing. Practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer. If you want your life transformed, make an appointment to see one of these people today. You'd be so happy you did. For a taste of that, go by the practitioner affirmative prayer tables or the Tranquility Room. And the people in service today are Tony Sparks, Anita Baroldi, and Jill Burnett. And there's and Reverend Arpad Petros. I'm looking, there's the fourth one. Anyway, you're always a practitioner. And if you are here for the very first time, we have a gift for you, and all you need to do is indicate you're it by raising your hand or standing up, letting us know that you're here for the first time. Seeing none, let's just acknowledge ourselves. This is what I know is true. Repeat after me. This is what I know is true. I am the magnificence of the Christ. I am not broken. I have nothing to fix. I am whole, complete, and perfect. And so it is. Okay. Do we have announcements?
Absolutely. So today after the service, our in-flight team back there, love them, are providing us with a day at camp. This is their gift to each one of us, and you get to experience what they get to experience at camp. So stay. It starts at 12 noon. You don't want to miss this.
Great food!
And great food provided by some beautiful people right there.
Control yourself. Come join us this Wednesday night for our Wednesday's Wisdom Service as Reverend Arpad gifts us with a healing meditation service. I think we can all benefit from that. And the healing begins at 7 p.m. when you show up.
And it's going to be a throwback meditation. That's all I'm telling you. We've done it for a long time.
All right. Yeah. And then this week at Shifting Sands, we have a guest speaker. Her name is Peggy Hall, and she will be here to represent her talk, Brain Power, How to Keep Mind and Memory Strong. We could all use that, too. So it meets from 10:30 to 12:30, and if you have any questions, please see Nancy Huxford.
Next Sunday, March 31st from 12 to 1 is our Youth and Family Visioning. Parents, volunteers, and anyone interested in volunteering in youth church are encouraged to attend so we can collectively reveal what Spirit's highest idea looks like for our youth program. Please RSVP to Diane Hennessy by Wednesday, March 27th and include the number of children you'll be attending. Diane's email address is on the announcement sheet that you take home with you. Then on Wednesday, April 10th, come lend your voice to what the next step is for our parent forum. Our brainstorming session begins at 10:30 a.m. Feel free to invite your friends.
And who would like more prosperity in their lives? So I'm once again announcing Dr. Heather's class coming up. She's facilitating the Prosperity Plus 3, the Mary Mann and Morrissey program. And so there is there a sign-up sheet on the kiosk?
It's in
Okay, flyers to fill out. So if you're interested, fill it out and turn it in because she's going to order the materials. And the cost is $55 for the hard copy, $45 for a digital copy. So keep that in mind.
And last but not least, today's flowers are for Mary Ann Lanou in celebration of her birthday on March 30th. Happy birthday, Mary Ann. You are a beautiful example of an ageless and timeless being. It's true. And now, the chillin'.